2 weeks ago, we first told you about an investigation into the Ingham County Animal Control over the care of several dogs that were brought in after a dogfighting ring. Tonight, News 10 dug deeper into what led to that investigation. Alani Latang now with details.
That's right. I have emails, veterinary medical records, and documents that show how the investigation started, who was involved, and what was found. Now, warning, some of the details and pictures in our investigation are disturbing. Report after report of red flags and concerns in how certain dogs were being taken care of after seizing more than 40 from a dogfighting ring in Lansing last year. At the time of the removal, Animal Control stating all dogs were adequate weight and appeared in good health. But that changed quickly, according to exclusive documents News 10 received, including statements from Ingham County Animal Control officers and staff when they were questioned by the Michigan Humane Society.
Since we're the agency that enforces the animal cruelty laws, when there's an allegation of neglect against us, we need to take it very seriously.
Director John Dinan says they asked for the Humane Society to investigate after concerns and complaints about the animal's care. Dinan refused an interview regarding these documents, but he did speak to us last week. He said the shelter was just overwhelmed.
Basically, last summer was a very busy summer, handling a lot of very difficult animals for a very long time.
But the complaints in the report weren't just of too many dogs, not enough people. They were serious accusations of neglect and abuse. Animal Control Officer Caitlin Bazinski states, on September 19th, about 3 months after the dogs were seized, reports of one dog, Dreamville, a black-haired pit bull, was very thin, believed to be consistently throwing up and having a possible obstruction. After email exchanges with animal control staff, it stated Dreamville would be monitored. In just 1 week, Bazinski reports that she saw Dreamville and that he was emaciated. I was horrified that his condition was so poor. She informed Director Dinan and Dr. Karen Worthington, who was the vet at the shelter, of Dreamville's severely deteriorated condition. Bazinski said when she talked to the staff who was in charge of feeding him, some said they were never told what Dreamville's feeding schedule was, and others were not documenting it. Director Dinan told us last week that he knows they need a better recording procedure.
We are tightening up on our record keeping. There was a lot of discussion about that dog that is not documented. The veterinarian and I talked many, many times.
And as far as that obstruction, Worthington stated that no x-ray would be done because Dreamville was not safe to handle. And even if they did perform surgery, Dreamville would not be safe for surgery aftercare due to what she felt was violent behavior. Dinan agreed.
Now it's easy to look back and say that didn't happen, so he should have been euthanized. But at the time, I stand by our decisions.
Although several other staff members state in the report they were hand-feeding Dreamville to get him to eat, certainly not a sign of aggressive behavior.
Most dogs, if you don't know the dog, you don't hand-feed the dog. You don't hand-feed the dog till you know the dog's a gentle dog. And most dogs can get very, very aggressive over food. So that's a case where you have to be careful about putting hands in your dog food.
So no x-ray was done, and Dreamville went from weighing 45 pounds in August to 31 pounds 1 month later. Dreamville was euthanized September 27th of last year. A necropsy was performed at MSU with findings that the dog was emaciated and had rope segments in his body. The Michigan Humane Society's investigation concluded that an x-ray should have been done to decide how to treat Dreamville, and the delay resulted in unnecessary suffering. And then there's JJ, reported in good physical condition on her intake. 2 months later, documents show the 1-year-old pit bull suffered from a sudden seizure and became unresponsive. Several hours later, JJ was euthanized. After JJ died, a necropsy report was done. Dr. Kurt Williams with MSU stated this was a very interesting case. Dr. Williams stated he found blood in the abdomen, which was indicative of some sort of rodent poisoning, and more tests needed to be done. The dog was screened for rodent poisoning and the test was negative, so it is still not clear why JJ suddenly hemorrhaged, went into a coma, and was forced to be euthanized. Email after email Bazinski and LeBombard showing concern over the care of the animals. Bazinski stating in her testimony that she often felt dismissed and brushed off. At one point, the two animal control officers asked for a meeting with Director Dinan and Deputy Director Ann Burns. bringing up repeated concerns. At the conclusion of the meeting, Dinan told them they didn't have an accurate picture, and if it does turn out to be something, shelter staff would take care of it. In one email, Dinan to his deputy director stated that he would prefer if we take Basinski out of the communication between the vets about the treatment. As we mentioned before, no one from the animal shelter would speak to us regarding the new information we uncovered for this story. The Ingham County Board of Commissioners oversees all county operations, including the animal shelter. We reached out to all of the commissioners on the board. County Commissioner Randy Schaefer was the only one to respond, but could not do an on-camera interview. Now, he told us he believes the shelter did do the best they could given the circumstance.
All right, Alani, and in those documents, you found out there were more dogs in part of this investigation.
That's right, and 2 puppies were also part of the investigation, claims of neglect and starvation, but managed to make it through. We will have their story, plus what's next in the investigation and the future of the shelter. I'll have that tonight on News 10 at 11.
All right, good work. Thanks, Alani. A Lansing